So, inspirational thought of the day, whatever you want to call it. Don't let nobody define who you are. When I was a kid, or even as I say in my 20s, um, people used to say, he's such a nice guy, he's soft, a crybaby. And I can admit that I was all of those things because I have been programmed to be that way. I'm a big guy. I've always been big, but I was always taught to be because I was big and people were much smaller than me. To be nice because I would be to blame if something went down, especially when it came to females. I'm not condoning hitting females or nothing like that, but females used to pick on me a lot, and I would never snap on them back. Um, not like to speak my mind, say, yo, you ain't gonna be talking to me like that. I'm a grown person or a young adult. I'm a person just like you, because females could be so mean to you. And like I said, I'm not condoning, but females used to make fun of me a lot. And I never could understand why. I say they didn't like me. And, and I developed this thing of that people thought I was soft or nice, but I was programmed to be that way because I was raised by nothing but females, and I was raised to be very humble. And there ain't nothing wrong with being humble, but I should have learned how to be more aggressive growing up. And it took me till I got into my 30s to realize that nobody in this world ain't gonna give me nothing. I remember, like, I used to like females, and like later on in life, they said, I used to like you too. I said, yeah, but my homeboy wanted to talk to you. And I should have been like, hey, just because my homeboy want to talk to you don't mean I should want to talk to you too. Because my homeboy might pick 50 girls to go want to talk to and try to get with them, and I'd be left out there in the cold. I should have been like, hey, I'm going to go get that. And, so I developed a years of a soft and being a nice guy, being slow. A lot of times I didn't catch on things too. I had to go through some experience to catch on things. But that's life. I didn't have a daddy in my life. So, people define me a certain way. But if you know anything about my career, I'm a highly successful person. Highly successful. I'm not saying I'm making hundreds of thousands of dollars, but I'm very successful in my work career. I work at a prison. No, I'm not a CEO, but, I'm high up there. And I'm doing a lot of positive stuff inside of the prisons working with inmates. And I'm very successful. So, don't let nobody define who you are. Because I let that define me for the rest of my life. And I realized I'm a very smart guy. I came from a shelter home. And stuff like that. And because my mom was a single parent, and I had a grandma in the neighborhood I grew up in. Now, I didn't grow up in New York or a major city, but drugs were really a bad problem in my area. I grew up in Fort Bragg, North Carolina, Spring Lake. And drugs was a major problem, so a lot of my friends slipped off into darkness. And my family wouldn't let me go down that route like they did. Like, yo, you got to be in the house, here go the video game, go play and stuff like that. That's one of the reasons why I put on a lot of weight. So don't let people define who you are. You make that definition for yourself. You don't have to talk it, but you walk it. Yo, man, I tell my daughter that all the time. Like, yo, go out there and make all A's. Go be the best player on the basketball team. Go do this. Go do that. And that's why I tell my daughter all the time, you got to be wanting to be the best at what you do in life. And let that show who you are. So, don't let nobody define who you are. Yeah, I'm still a nice guy. If I see somebody that need help, that's what I do. But I think when people were saying I was a nice guy, and then they say I let people walk on me, that was a nice way of them saying I let people walk on me. And it probably was true. A lot of times, it took me a while to catch on to certain things, but I caught on. And the people that I grew up in my circles, I'm just as successful or more than a lot of them. And some of them came from 2-parent households. But hey, this is my inspirational thought for the day. Don't let nobody define who you are.